President Donald Trump is pushing for a one-year 10% cap on credit card interest rates starting later this month. But the proposed legislation is receiving mixed feedback. Here now to weigh in is Brent Wilsey, with the president with the Wilsey Asset Management. Good evening, Brent. So good to see you as always.
Good to be here as always.
I couldn't wait for this interview. It's kind of like, it sounds too good to be true. A 10% cap on interest rates for credit cards. What are your thoughts about this?
It does sound too good to be true, and you got to dig a little bit deeper to find out what's going on. And yes, I know credit card interest rates about 22, 23%. Gosh, it sounds terrible. But you've got to look behind the scenes of what's going on. I mean, banks are in business, I'm sorry, to make a profit and make money. And they can't do it at a 10% rate. Now, what's going to happen? And just think about this. The credit card default rate is 3%. Now, there's $1.2 trillion in credit cards out there. That's a $38 billion loss that banks lose. And people don't think about that. It's not like they get to keep that full 22%. There's expenses. I mean, you have labor costs. I mean, you call on the phone, you send an email, somebody needs to respond back to you. Advertising, they advertise about the credit cards. Also to the cost of funds. When you charge your credit card, that merchant within 1 to 3 days gets paid. Well, that's money that's not free money. There's a cost for that money. The bank has to pay for that. Also to fraud protection. When you call up and say, I didn't charge us $1,000, you don't pay it. The bank says, yes, it's fraud. They pay it. So all these expenses are there that the bank has to pay. So it's not a pure profit thing. They get to keep that 22%. There's a limit they have. And that's the big thing. You got to realize they're in business to make money. They cannot make money at 10%. And that's the problem. That's where credit cards will stop for the wrong people. Or for people that are, what, credit score below 760. They won't be able to get a credit card.
Right. Adding to what you're saying, this is a proposal, but how are the banks even willing to do this? Are the banks doing good to even offer that 10%? I mean, we have the consumers, then we have the banks. And adding also what you're saying, does this apply to everyone? Because I understand the interest rate's based on your credit report. For example, I have good credit and I have about 22% interest rate on my credit card. So would that apply to everyone, that 10% cap?
It would, and that's the idea behind it. But the problem is banks won't do it. They'll say, okay, we're going to stop issuing credit cards. We're not going to issue a credit card when we're going to lose money at 10%. So that's going to hurt the lower income people. That's going to hurt people with credit scores below 760 because the banks know they can't make money off it. And what happens, you have good credit, you pay your card every month, you do the fees, everything perfect. But other people don't. So it's a balance, like in life insurance. They base it on the number of people, the mortality. Same thing with credit cards, they're doing that. And the problem is that we're going to lose, and I think the number was from Vanderbilt University, about $27 billion in rewards will be lost to lower income people, people with credit scores below 760, younger people, because the banks just can't afford to do it. And you and I would lose as well, because perhaps they'll eliminate completely those rewards. And those airline miles that people love, no, those could go too, because the airlines, they make money from the credit cards as well. So everybody's making part of that. You take that away, no more miles, no more cash rewards. I love my 2% cash reward card. Those could go away because there's no point in doing it for profit.
Yeah, and it sounds like trouble, especially for those with a low credit score and a low earner as well, because if someone is being offered 10%, they're going to get really happy with that credit card. And maybe the banks, I mean, as a consumer, I would think if someone were to have a 10% interest rate, the banks would say, okay, well, we'll give you a larger credit increase, and then everyone's going to be spending all that money, and then since it's a variable interest, then it'll go back up to maybe 22%, and then they're stuck.
Well, they're not stuck. They can't pay it, and then who gets stuck with it? The bank gets stuck with it, and that's why the banks, and I've listened to some of our banks who own the portfolio, the conference, they're saying this is not a good thing. We cannot do this, and the consumer will hurt because yes, there's a 10% credit limit out there. But what's going to happen? The banks say, we're not going to issue at that level. You can't force the bank to issue a credit card and take losses. So it sounds good, but it's not good. People just have to realize you need to be more disciplined with your credit cards. You have to not spend what you don't have. And I personally, like you, I don't care what the interest rate is because I don't carry a balance.
Well, I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, you learned your lesson. See?
And I'm sure many of you too have learned your lesson.
Never carry a balance on your credit card. It's ridiculous. I don't care if they charge me 50% because I'm not going to use it. So you have to be financial discipline not to do that. And so I don't care if it's 10% or 20%. don't use a credit card if you got to
I
pay the
wish
interest.
we had more time because that is a great point.
Yeah.
Learn how to use your credit card responsibly and manage
Yes.
it. All right, Brent Wilsey, thank you so much for weighing in on the proposed 10% cap on the credit card interest rate. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
Of course.